So today I wanted to make a video to share the story of how I became the frugal spender that I am. So I've been watching a lot of personal finance videos, just teaching people how to get rich, retire early, and then that kind of inspired me to share my story of how I was basically a reckless, well, I wouldn't say reckless, but I knew nothing about personal finance. Yeah, so let's just get started. So I graduated college almost 10 years ago. I know, it's pretty crazy. I got a job and I must say the salary was, but I was just happy to have a job. Like, I was unemployed, fresh out of college for about a month, which I know isn't very long, but still it's pretty scary to just not have a direction. So I took the job. And I was, of course, still living at home with my parents, so I didn't really have too much to worry about in terms of expenses, except student loans. Thankfully, my parents helped pay it off for me after college, so I'm very, very grateful for that. We were excited to finally experience life with a paycheck, go out to the city every like 2 or 3 times a week, just go drink, happy hour, blow it all away. I always thought like, oh, money is made to be spent, and we're only young ones, so let's just try to enjoy it, you know? I was pretty sure most of my friends had that mentality as well. We didn't like grow up really learning about personal finance in school. I'm sure you guys can all relate. That job was so bad. Like, my boss was horrible, the pay was horrible, I didn't have any benefits. I stuck it out for 8 months. I moved to another job which paid slightly better, but still not great. It was kind of a very traditional, old-fashioned company. It was a much bigger company. I still didn't learn anything about personal finance, but at least now this company offered 401k, and with I think like a 3% match. That was my first time investing, but I didn't actually understand what was going on. I just listened to what the HR told me. Oh, do you want to be more aggressive or more conservative? Given that you're still young, you should go the more aggressive route. We'll match this, match that. And I was just like, okay. I had no idea. I just felt like a fish out of water because I didn't learn anything about this. I don't know who to blame, like me or the school system or both, because it seemed like everybody else knew what it was, and I didn't want to be the only one to come out and say, I don't know what this all means. As I'm getting older and wiser, I start to realize that a lot of other people also don't know what's going on, but they don't want to be the one to come out to say it, and then everybody is just going through life. Nobody knows what's going on. Backtrack. I was at that job for a total of 4.5 years. Two or 3 years in, I was like starting to look for other jobs. Let me move a little. Yeah, I didn't really have much luck at that company. I didn't get to learn many technical skills that all these other companies were looking for, and I realized I think I have to go back to school. Like, I can't keep doing this. There was not much growth. But basically, it felt like a dead end. At this time, I still had that same mentality. I didn't really have the urge to save. And one of my coworkers introduced me to Forex at the time, which is foreign exchange trading foreign currencies. And then he was telling me, oh, he made $14,000 in one night. And I was like, oh my God, of course. I was really curious, even though I had no idea what I was doing. I just downloaded the app. I put $600 in there, and I'm pretty sure I just eventually lost it all. And then I just never touched it again. I didn't know anything about investing. I'm like, oh, $600, I'm just gonna make it back in the next week anyway, so whatever. And then my parents, they're always telling me, you gotta save, but I just tell myself, oh, they're just being old-fashioned, which, you know, now that I think back, it's I don't know if I regret it, because I don't regret just letting myself be the 20-something-year-old self. If I wasn't that person, then I don't think that I would be the person I am today, because now I feel like I got to live out my 20s. I'm pretty happy with how I spent it, even though I spent everything. I got to go to a lot of music festivals, so that's where I also blew a lot of my money. I don't regret it. Do I regret not trying to find ways to budget better. Maybe on the times when I have a big music festival coming up, I won't go out to eat as much. It's like little things like that I didn't think about, but now I think about. Oh, sorry, I just keep skipping around. Maybe next time I should write it out so I can organize my thoughts better. 3 years into that job, I was like 25, 26 years old. I decided to get my MBA, go back to grad school, just to give myself some more, like a little more sense of direction in my life rather than feeling like a rut. And that was when I stopped spending as much. I started thinking, oh, if I'm gonna go back to school and then if I do that, I'm not gonna be able to work. So I have to start saving now. And I also started studying for my GMATs at the time. I studied for about over a year. I took it twice. So because I had a lot more time studying, I also stopped spending as much as I did. I would just go out with my friend now once a week instead of like 3-4 times a week. I got into graduate school. This was 2017. It's a full-time 2-year program, and I had to quit my job, like I said, and I had to pay tuition because my mom was very adamant about not taking out any student loan debt. So I took most of the money that I had saved up from my job, which is only like around 20K, and then I would pay tuition with it, and that was what I would live off of. And because I had this experience where I knew that I wasn't having a paycheck regularly coming in, that was when I really learned to budget. Sun keeps finding my face. I just want to talk to the camera and fix my hair. I was the most frugal I have ever been. Every time I went to school, I would bring food from home. Actually, that was always been a habit of mine. I never liked to buy lunch. And then when I would hang out with friends, they understood my situation. So we would do really like budget-friendly stuff. So 2 years of that, I also was able to get a part-time grad school internship at a startup, which did not pay a lot. Story of my life. I just don't get paid a lot. At least it subsidized it just helped me get by. So I didn't have to resort to asking my parents for money, which would have been embarrassing for someone in her mid to late 20s at that point. I was at the internship for almost 2 years. It still wasn't paying a lot because it's a startup, so they just had to secure funding, which is definitely. Let me just tell you, unless you have a true, real passion for it, I don't advise it. It's just, I saw how hard they worked and then how hard I had to work sometimes, and then at the end of the day, you're just not sure if. And I'm so grateful for that experience, not only because I earned my MBA degree, but it just kind of changed my whole perspective. It rewired my brain in terms of how to think of money. Now, when I have money coming in, I don't think of, oh my gosh, let me go spend it all. And now I'm thinking of how much I can save, because the more money that I have saved up, that's just more freedom. Eventually in 2020, I left that job because she promised that like once they secure funding, she will give me like full-time salary, what I was worth, because now I had a graduate degree and benefits. But that was like contingent on whether or not they would get funding. I just didn't have that kind of patience anymore because I was working so hard, so much, and for something that may or may not happen. Luckily, I found a job. This was in January of 2020. Yes, this is where it gets juicy. And let me just tell you, it is double what I was making. I mean, I don't know if my graduate degree helped, or maybe they just liked my personality. And I finally feel like I'm secure, financially secure. Of course, I'm going to want to make more money, but I must say I'm very content, I'm very satisfied. But even with double my salary, I still have those values. I track everything I spend. I use Mint. I check it religiously. I have to really think hard every time I want to make a purchase, because I know that every time I make a purchase, my net worth goes down. And that really kind of like, I don't want my net worth to go down. I want to reach this goal. I'm sure everybody knows which goal that is. Hope to reach it by the end of this year. This a quarter of my take-home pay goes to rent. About an eighth goes to credit card debt, but it's 0 interest, which is why I do it. It's actually a balance transfer, another 1/8 on just miscellaneous bills. And then I try to save about 50%, basically 1 whole paycheck per month. I will invest it in Vanguard index funds. 2020, there was the whole shutdown. I finally did what I've always wanted to do, which is started to read. The first thing I read was Think and Grow Rich and all these other personal finance books, but now I need to really play catch up. I started investing really late in my life, in my late 20s. I just feel like I'm late, but better late than never. Now I just aggressively put money in there, and I really think twice about spending money. And then if I do go out with my friends, I think we're all pretty much on the same page. We don't want to spend that much. We're all in our 30s right now, and we have better things that we want to put our money towards. One thing that I do want to do is have another source of income. Right now my only source of income is my job currently. I mean, I invest, I have dividends, but that's not even 1 month of my expenses. Also, I got engaged. We do want to have a wedding. That's gonna be a big thing to budget for. That's gonna be a separate topic. And weddings, let me just tell you, is not cheap. We were looking at a venue, and it's gonna be like at least 30,000-40,000 at that venue we want. But anyway, that's my story of how I became someone who had no sense of personal finance to now saving like 50% of her income. I've rewired my brain to think of how to view money, and my fiance and my soon-to-be mom-in-law, they think I'm too frugal, and that's coming from my mom-in-law, which I don't know how to take that. I got all kind of dolled up today because I'm actually going out to meet a friend, and so I'm like, oh, can't waste all this time getting ready. 2 birds, 1 stone, because nowadays with the whole lockdown, I barely put on makeup or get dressed, so I'm like, might as well make a video. So thank you so much for watching. I hope this video won't be too long. I hope to make more videos talking about personal finance, maybe just lifestyle. I'm kind of into that stuff. So thanks for watching. Have a great day. Bye.